I call myself a Fronteriza. That's one of my main identities because I was born in Juarez and raised in El Paso. And since I was a very little kid, I've had an understanding of the border that ended up shaping what I do for a job. And in my work, I always want to talk about both of those things because I think that people on the border are very resilient. The way that the border is talked about in the media or talked about by politicians has no relevance to the reality of how we live on the border. I am someone who loves the border, someone who loves to listen to the stories of the border. And as I get older, I realize how my own story and my own family story fits into the history of the border. Sometimes I'm driving to school and I look across the freeway and I see one of my favorite grocery stores in Juarez. And I think to myself, I'm on my way to work in Texas and I'm looking just right there and it's a whole other nation. I was born in Juarez in the mid-1950s, and I had an identical twin named Elisa. Her mother, my grandmother, took my twin Elisa. My great aunt Esther took me in. So I came to El Paso. Elisa stayed in Juarez. We were born really prematurely. We weighed 2 pounds each. I got medical care because I came over here to El Paso. Elisa didn't get medical care and she died. I remember knowing that when I was 3. So when I was a little kid, I would go in the backyard and I would make like a little grave and pretend that it was her so I could be next to her. So I've always felt like part of me is buried in Juarez and part of me is alive here. Like so many young people, when I became a college student, I wanted to leave El Paso. And I did leave El Paso and I moved to Austin to go to UT, but then I came back and then I moved to Tucson to go to the University of Arizona. Then I came back. Then I moved to San Antonio to be a professor at UT San Antonio, and then I came back. So I learned finally on my 3rd coming back that this is where I belong.